Plant Pu-tang had style. He wasn't just any ordinary pitcher plant sitting on a windowsill. Oh no, he was a whole vibe. Tall, elegant, with deep burgundy pitchers that curved like designer handbags and a lid that tilted just enough to say, "I'm classy, but I will absolutely digest a fly." At least, he used to look like that. Now, he looked like a crumpled paper bag that lost an argument with gravity. Uh, guys, Pu-tang croaked weakly, his once glossy pitchers now dry and curling. "I'm not trying to be dramatic, but I think I'm photosynthesizing my last." Across the room, the plant family, also known as the humans, were busy arguing over whose turn it was to take out the trash. "Did you water the plants?" Mom asked casually. "I thought you did," Dad replied, not looking up from his phone. Pu-tang's lid drooped. Oh, oh no. It started small. First, they forgot that pitcher plants aren't your average houseplant. Pu-tang needed distilled or rainwater, not that crusty tap water full of minerals. Then came the bigger offense, his soil. "I think he's fine," said one of the kids weeks ago. Dirt is dirt. Pu-tang had wanted to scream, "I need nutrient-poor, well-draining soil. I'm not a cactus. I'm not a fern. I'm a delicate icon." But alas, plants don't yell. They wilt with dignity. And then, the ultimate betrayal. They stopped refilling his tray. Pitcher plants thrive when their pots sit in a shallow tray of water, like a spa day every day. But Pu-tang's spa had been bone dry for days. "Moisture," he whispered dramatically. "I remember moisture." One fateful afternoon, Pu-tang's last pitcher gave up the ghost with a soft flop. That's when the youngest kid finally noticed. "Mom, Dad, I think Plant Pu-tang is, not thriving." They all gathered around. Silence. Guilt. A single dramatic gasp. "He looks like he's been through something," Mom said. Pu-tang, barely conscious, thought, "Yes, neglect. I've been through neglect." Suddenly, sirens. A tiny green and white vehicle screeched into the living room. The side read, "Emergency Botanical Services." Two paramedics hopped out, one a no-nonsense aloe, the other a hyper-efficient fern. "What's the situation?" Aloe barked. "Severe dehydration," said Fern, checking Pu-tang's limp pitchers. "Possible mineral burn. Soil. Questionable." Pu-tang wheezed. "Tell my Venus flytrap cousin I always respected his hustle." "Stay with us," Aloe snapped. "We're rehydrating." They carefully misted him, added distilled water to his tray, and gently lifted his pot onto a tiny stretcher. "Transporting to the nursery hospital," Fern announced. The sirens blared again as they zoomed off. At the local nursery hospital, Pu-tang was rushed into intensive care. A wise old orchid doctor adjusted his glasses. He said. "Classic case of improper care. But don't worry, we've caught it in time." He turned to the family, who had followed behind in shame. "Let me educate you," he said firmly. Pitcher plants need bright, indirect sunlight, not a dark corner. They require distilled rain or reverse osmosis water. Tap water can harm them. Keep their soil moist at all times, ideally sitting in a shallow tray of water. Use specialized carnivorous plant soil, not regular potting mix. And no fertilizer. He gets nutrients from insects, thank you very much. The family nodded like students who had just failed a very important test. "We didn't know," Mom said softly. Pu-tang, now hooked up to a tiny drip of pure water, whispered, "Google exists." A days passed, slowly, Steadily, Pu-tang began to recover. His pitchers perked up, new growth appeared, his color returned, rich, vibrant, fabulous. One morning he stretched his lid and said, "I'm back, and I look good." The family cheered. From that day on, everything changed. They created a watering schedule. They bought distilled water. They researched care like they were studying for finals. Even the kids got involved. "Hey, it's my turn to refill Pu-tang's tray," one said proudly. Pu-tang beamed. "Well, well," he said, "look at y'all, thriving with me." "Take it from me," he said with a smirk, "being fabulous is hard work. But with the right care, baby, we don't just survive, we thrive." He snapped his lid shut as a fly wandered a little too close. Chomp. Also, mind your business.